as well.
No way.
Yeah.
No
next,
way.
they're gonna fly Kanye West. They're gonna fly him out, show him the secret lab.
For real?
No, I'm making this up.
Fake
They're flying Tom DeLonge out. No, it might not be fake. It might be real.
It could be. It looks fake.
Here's the thing about aliens, right? How often do you think they'd have to visit? I think they could get it done once in the 70s and be done with us. They check us out and they'd go, look at these crazy assholes.
Yeah, it depends on if, I mean, if
we're gonna fucking
if you pause it, they were like fucking
cameras on the moon. These stupid fuckers, they won't even be able to see
it. Finding out whether or not we're harvestables to eat. That might take a little while.
Now let's get out of here. These people are
they might be waiting for us to get right.
They're gonna have nuclear power with these assholes, and we would never see them again. So like, that really is a UFO. It really is from another planet, right? How many times do they have to come here? You don't. I mean, if they are real, how much evidence would you really see of them? Would you see it once every 10 years? How often would they come up?
Who had that joke that, was it you maybe? Someone had a joke that, like, maybe this is like the Tijuana of the universe or something?
Yeah, this is Tijuana space. They come down here when they're fucked up and they want to see a show.
Was that part of your...
Yeah.
That was old.
Yeah, that's super old. That's 2000, early 2000s. Yeah, I think it's... I'm not a non-believer, that's for fuck sure. I think it's entirely possible. Like, if I looked up in the sky and an alien ship flew by, I would never think...
Well, you have to kind of... I mean, it has to be possible.
It can't be possible. I would think, wow, they fucking...
Doesn't mean it's likely.
I mean, I'm sure there's something out there that's smart. I'm sure there is. It's a matter of what it would look like, you know?
The blob.
Would it even be in a physical form anymore? I mean, why do we assume that everything has to be in a physical form? What are you looking at? Kendrick Lamar says he saw a UFO, but nobody believes him.
He's black. And they be seeing shit and anything. You see ghosts.
Both of them?
You see that ghost?
He does a lot. He goes really deep with Eddie Bravo a lot.
Even like Nick West will shut up about that. You know,
there's Nicky will. I don't think you're right at all. I think he would definitely argue that we went to the moon.
Well, he's getting paid for that, so like, I mean, he's got to. I mean, the dude backs up every official story.
Yeah, but people do that not necessarily because they're getting paid. They do it because that's the mindset they're in. They're in this mindset, like we were talking about with someone else before the podcast started.
Well, he has a website. He makes money on his website. That's what I'm talking
about. It's very little money to be made up debunking things.
Well,
it's not the motivation for doing it when you're a multi-millionaire from video games. I mean, he made a shit ton of money from selling video games. He was like some sort of a programmer in video games, and then he has a good time debunking things, but he has an official story mentality is what I would call it, where no matter what, like there's people that are objective and there's people that are debunkers, and he's a debunker, and it doesn't necessarily mean he's wrong about a lot of stuff, but it does mean that he goes into things with the intention to debunk,
with the bias of always already thinking it's right.
Towards an official story.
I look at it with
every single thing. He believes
right.
Yeah, that's a goofy.
Come on, man.
That one's goofy.
He believes Tower 7 collapsed at free fall speed because of fires.
There's a lot of people that believe that. Unfortunately, I'm not a fucking engineer. I would like to know whether or not it's possible to burn a building so bad inside that it does collapse.
It's impossible.
Well, I mean, jet fuel ignited, and that shit.
Same fucking degrees, and they all the same fucking standing.
You can it's not all of them. That's the thing.
There's no architects that outside of NIST, a government agency. There's no architects fighting for to debunk the Tower 7. There's none. In every...
Okay, I don't know if that's true, Eddie. Neither do you. I don't know if you know that there's like... But there's got to be some architects and engineers that don't think that building fell because it was demolished.
When they look... Well, if you understand how...
There's a lot of them.
There's about 100,000 architects and engineers in the associations, like the American Association of Architects, and there's about 100,000. And Richard Gage... He's one of them, and he didn't know anything about it. He thought it wasn't an inside job. It took him years, and then he didn't really know about Tower 7. Most of them don't know about Tower 7. What he does now, he discovered it, and what he does now is just go from convention to convention, sitting 15 architects down at a time, and boom, about 99% of them they all believe it. They didn't even know there was a third tower. It was not in the media that much. They basically
I think that's crazy. I think by this time everybody knows about Tower 7.
They still don't know. Most people don't know. No, they don't talk about it on the main.
You're talking about the one that was like a couple blocks away, right?
People have talked about it enough online to the point
Maybe
where I don't
now
think
more
that's,
than ever, but still, now more than ever, yes. They go to hear about that Tower 7 thing, but they don't really know the details. They just kind of just know about it, you know?
Did you ever see the video that shows the full collapse, which takes a lot longer? You see the first collapse, where the top of the thing falls into the center, and
that's the elevators.
It happens. Yeah.
They explain architects and engineers. I've sat with them. I'm no structural engineer, but you tell them.
What did they say?
This is what's. If someone told you, there's 85 columns that hold up Tower 7, and if someone told you, if a structural engineer told you, would you think he was crazy, or would you believe him? He said, and it makes sense. I mean, it's common sense. The only way you're going to get a building to come down like that, any building, any structure, is you have to blow up all 80 columns at the same time. Otherwise, it won't go down like that. Right. To me, that's common sense. To someone who believes NIST, the government agency, said, no, that's not
Why
true.
Why do you say NIST? Isn't it NEST?
Spiraled out of control because of
Nuclear Emergency Search Team.
I've had
something I can think of.
On my podcast twice. Every time he comes back, he gets more. He just piles on more. Because all I got to do is sit him down. They don't know. Nobody knows. That's the truth.
See, has he ever debated someone who's like an opposing viewpoint?
Nobody
that's an architect or structural engineer?
No, nobody's backing him.
This is what people would, though.
No, because when they look into it, it's common sense. Anybody knows.
So you think that they know that it's not true? They think that Tower 7 was an inside job, and they don't want to debate it because they can't win. Do you really think they think that?
Can I say that again?
So you think the people that are debunking it, so like if he's got this opinion,
there's no architects and engineers to debunk it.
That's already done. We're not because
that's
already
done and said.
There's got to be architects and engineers that disagree. Come on, man. You don't think there's any people that disagree?
Find a video of a real, not a government agency.
I mean, it's got to be.
Agency.
Jamie, see if you can pull up.
Doesn't that make sense?
What makes sense?
An engineer told you, a dude who builds skyscrapers, told you to your face, like I've been told to my face. They said the only way that and you see it on video, engineer after engineer after engineer. Are they all crazy? Engineer after engineer. Go. It's impossible when you look into it. It's impossible for a building to collapse like that unless all 80 columns are blown up at the same time.
We've covered this, but here's the thing. I don't know anything about engineering. I don't know if you have diesel fires that get out of control, if it weakens the entire structure where it just collapses like that. I don't know if that's possible.
What would you, if you have guests all the time that are experts in fields that you're not experts in, but when you sit here,
I find out sometimes they're wrong too, unfortunately.
Sometimes
I let a guy ramble about some stuff, and then they find out that they're making some of it up, or that some of it's based on pseudoscience. It does happen.
No, but an engineer, a guy who builds.
I understand.
This is.
Right.
Doesn't it make sense?
Jamie,
doesn't that make sense?
Google, try to figure out, who resists architects and engineers? What is it?
I'm reading right now an article in the Boston Globe that talks about truthers in 9/11.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Talked about, and I think they're
going to smear him.
I might have interviewed him, and then I'm trying to figure out what they're talking about.
There's got to be some architects or engineers that have had a conversation or a debate with someone who believes they couldn't possibly have fallen any other way.
Okay, maybe they're out there.
But I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know shit. I don't know how my fucking computer works.
What's wrong with it?
I don't know.
How do you know anything?
Who constructs a jet?
How do you know anything? You know a lot of shit. You know a lot of shit.
But if somebody wanted to argue with me
what was wrong with it?
Components and how they work on a laptop, I would have to go, you're probably right. I'll have to talk to some computer engineers that tell me the actual reality of it. More than one.
Did you recently install the
but I just can't believe that all of the people that build buildings think it's an inside job. So
okay, what if
90%?
Okay, what if 90%?
That'd be pretty impressive.
If 90%
that'd be pretty impressive.
It was
shit, 50% would be impressive.
Exactly. It's 50%
do I know this person?
It's about in the 90s.
I don't know if that's right. So I don't know where you're getting that number.
I'm getting it from Richard Gage, who's the head of
architects and engineers from 9/11 Truth.
Yeah, right? Every year they add another couple hundred.
I understand, but you know that.
Adding.
But he might be a little biased, right? I mean, if he's the head of architects and engineers from 9/11 Truth, and he tells you that 90% of the architects and engineers out there think it's an inside job, it might be a little biased. I don't know if that's true, and I don't think you do necessarily either. I think we're just guessing.
I believe it.
I would love to see. I would love to see an architect or an engineer that disagreed with him talk to him about it and go over the data. Because until that happens, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
Nobody argues with him. Nobody debates.
There's got to be someone who debunks that guy. Everybody debunks everybody.
No, they definitely a smear campaign. Are you kidding?
Right, but is it a smear campaign, or is it just that they're saying things that he's saying that aren't correct?
It's not just him. He's just one.
I understand.
He's one of many. It's common sense, dude.
Maybe. Okay.
It's just like...
Right, but I don't know. I don't know anything about making buildings. I don't know anything about what it takes for a building to collapse. I don't know.
Totally. I don't know either. Maybe it got hot. I believe
it's not just hot. It's diesel fires from giant tanks of gas that were in the basement.
I want to believe that. I want to believe that fires made it hot. I don't want to believe they blew it up because that's scary.
I wonder
I want to believe the fire.
If a fire is in a basement and the fire has diesel fuel and it's burning at some insane temperature and there's fucking shitloads of diesel fuel down there, I wonder what effect that has. I don't know. Do you?
I'm pretty sure, based on my life's experience, that that's not going to bring down a building.
A lot of diesel fuel life experience?
Based on common sense. It's common sense that, yeah, if a building's going to fall at fall speed, boom, like that, if a engineer after engineer after engineer, at some point I'm going to believe them. At some point, I'm not going to...
Well, I understand, Eddie, but I don't know if you've necessarily looked into the engineers that disagree.
I know there's a smear campaign.
Okay, but have you looked into the engineers that disagree?
There's none. There's none. There's no documentary. There's no documentary. Find a documentary. If there is,
what about just articles? Do they have to make a documentary for it to make sense?
What was that?
What if it's an article? What if it's a peer-reviewed paper? What if it's some sort of...
Those are all... Dude, that's a smear camp. There's that side, there's the elite that don't want this out, and then there's people trying to get the truth out. So the elite have the control of the media. So how are you going to... They have paid shills on... You think that they would have dropped the ball big time. Like Ernest Biner in 1987 for the Browns. They would have dropped the ball. If you don't have paid shills online, strategically pushing the agenda, come on.
Okay.
They're all over the internet.
What are you about to pull up?
There's a bunch of fake shit on there.
What, Jamie?
I was stuck on this Richard Gage thing. I was trying to see if anybody's debunking him. I'm looking at Twitter.
He's just an engineer that cares.
Hold on, don't talk to me. I'm looking around. I'm just looking around. The Boston Globe article says that there's a small vocal subset of people, of engineers that are with this Richard Gage guy.
That's what I had read. I never read that it was like some overwhelming number. Just keep stirring. It's hard because it's fun. It's exciting. It's exciting to think that there's some sort of a gigantic cabal of super geniuses that run the world and decide to blow up Tower 7.
You know what's funny about the moon? Fuck Tower 7.
Jesus
Believe
Christ.
it or not, I don't even
you want to talk about the UFC at all?
You know what's crazy about the moon?
What?
Is the hardest shit ever accomplished, the greatest, by the human race. The greatest accomplishment ever was landing on the moon, right? Right? So you would think, holy shit balls.
I don't think it does.
You know what? Well, listen. Okay, but let's just... At the time.
At the time.
No,
it's probably one of those scented ones.
Okay, but I'm just talking about like a physical achievement. 3 dudes, they got shot up in a rocket. They were in a orbiter, and then the orbiter shot out the lunar, like the LEM, and then it lands. They played golf, went doom bug riding, did donuts in the sand. They take pictures. They get back in, take off, dock with that orbiter, and then fly back. That's the hardest shit ever. No one died. And, dude, can you imagine that second mission 6 months later? They did it again when they had to break the news that they were going to use different astronauts. Because every mission they use different astronauts. Wouldn't you think they would?
Like a show, like have the same star over and over again?
No, the 3 dudes who pulled it off.
Keep doing it?
Dude, are you kidding? They did it before.
Yeah, but they don't want to keep doing it. What if it fucks you up? Every time you do it?
What if they were planning on using Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong, but they just fucking got egos and shit? They started going to